It may be midterm season at Aidan Berg, but it's final season for basketball, and I'm quizzing all of you.
Bring it on, Jill.
Sports Scene starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Sports Scene. I'm Jillian Caroll.
And I'm Labruna.
USC men's basketball is racing toward the Pac-12 regular season championship with 5 games left in the regular season. After a 3-game losing streak, wins against Washington and Washington State were much needed.
Freshman forward Onyeka Okongwu and guard Kyle Sturdivant were both out for the game. The Trojans have not yet announced when they will return to the court. The Trojans had a 70-51 win over Washington State where we saw some strong performances.
Graduate guard Daniel Utomi recorded a season-high 23 points against the Cougars and was 5 for 10 at the three-point line. The Trojans saw an improvement in their shooting troubles as the team shot 45.2% from the field. Freshman guard Ethan Anderson had 12 points and 9 assists for USC.
I mean, every game now is important trying to get to March, especially at home court. We can't drop anything. Only about like 6 games or 7 games left in conference, only like 3 or 4 at home or 3 left at home. It's getting real, but you just gotta stay focused and it's gonna all come together. Just gotta keep on winning. We can let the pressure get to us. We gotta take care of the ball, make the right reads. It's more or less than the defense, so we shut out tonight. Be strong with the ball and make the right play.
USC is predicted to dance in March, but with 2 top 20 teams left to face, the future is still unsure for the Trojans. They remain in contention for a Pac-12 tournament first-round bye and will travel for their first conference road trip this week to play Colorado and Utah.
Alrighty, let's head into our roundtable now. We have Aidan Berg and Reagan Griffin joining us today. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Let's jump right in. What will be the Trojans' biggest challenge in their last remaining games?
I think their biggest key for the last games is going to be finding that go-to person who leads their offense, scoring-wise, basically. I think early in the season they didn't really have that person because they were kind of beating up on weaker teams, and then they found it in Onyeka Okongwu, but now he's out, and they went on that losing streak even with him in there. So finding who's going to be their kind of biggest playmaker, their leader offensively, is going to be really crucial for them.
I agree with you, but you know who has stepped up as of lately is Daniel Utomi. He mentioned the 23 points that he scored. He's been very good. I think personally, guard play. I mean, you look at some of the guys that they have to face in these final 5 games, my God. You got Remy Martin scored 22 points and hit the game winner in the first game against ASU. Tyler Bay scored 16 points and is a really great athlete. You got Nico Mannions, arguably a lottery pick in this upcoming draft. Chris Smith, Rylan Jones out of Utah, both solid players. Jonah Matthews and Ethan Anderson are going to have their hands full trying to contain these dudes and keep them from hurting them like they did the first time around.
And I think USC has definitely struggled with consistency away and at home. So I think this weekend's road trip to play Colorado and Utah will be one of their biggest challenges.
So you guys have pointed out a couple of holes in USC's basketball team. Do you think they can patch up those holes and get a first-round bye in the Pac-12 tournament?
Absolutely. There's no reason why they shouldn't if they're able to successfully encirculate Onyeka Okongwu back into the lineup, right? He's been out with a concussion. If they get him back in there, they're sitting at the 5th seed right now, but the thing to notice is that the difference between them and the teams ahead of them is pretty minimal, and they have opportunity to gain that ground back. Playing 3 out of their last 5 teams, those are against teams that are ahead of them right now. So there's no reason to think that they shouldn't be able to gain up that ground and be in the top 4, possibly even the top 3 or 2.
As Lee Corso says on College Game Day, not so fast. I don't think that they have a chance to make that first round bye. And the reason for that is they're not going to be favored in 3 of their last 5 games when they're probably going to need to go 4-1 or 5-0 to really secure that top spot. With the issues that they're going to have, figuring out their offense, especially when Okongwu comes back, and figuring out how everyone fits together, I don't really see them playing their best ball that they need to at the end to make that top seed.
I do think, however, that Onyeka's absence has caused and forced a lot of players really to step up their game a little bit, specifically Isaiah Mobley, who's been extremely impressive in the last couple of games. I think bringing Onyeka back only enhances the team, right? So you put him back in the lineup. You have the added play of guys like Mobley, guys like Rakocevic, Jonah Matthews, Utomi, Weaver. There's no reason why they shouldn't. Sorry to disagree with you, but, got to stand by.
Don't be sorry. We're not sorry around
here. Yeah, you're right. Not sorry at all. Not sorry.
I think there definitely is a chance it all comes down to USC playing some good basketball.
Well, I love a good, respectful disagreement. Thank you guys for posting up in the paint with us today. NFL hopefuls are preparing for the draft. Let's send it over to Juju and Daniel with some updates on athletes training for the NFL Combine.
Thanks, Lauren and Jill. The 2020 NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis is just 4 days away, and just 2 Trojans are making the trip out.
Yes, indeed, Julia. USC's 2019 graduating class is small in comparison to years past, as only offensive lineman Austin Jackson and wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. will be in attendance. Other known faces like linebacker John Houston and running back Stephen Carr are deciding to emphasize Pro Day instead.
Out of Jackson and Pittman Jr., Jackson has the highest draft stock as a potential first-round pick. The 6'6", 310-pound lineman was all Pac-12 first team last season as a junior. After completing 25 career starts at SC, he opted out of his senior season to enter the draft. His size and athleticism make him attractive to NFL scouts. Jackson's decision to donate bone marrow to his sister in the summer of 2019, risking his playing prospects in the process, is also a demonstration of his top-level character.
Let's look at the receivers now. Pittman Jr. had a stellar season last season, catching 101 balls for 11 touchdowns and 1,275 yards. Pittman Jr. ranked 11th nationally in receiving yards. Despite his gifted talent, Pittman Jr. is expected to go a bit later on in this draft, as he is projected to be drafted on day 2 or 3, as this year's receiver class is full of heavy hitters from Alabama's Jerry Jeudy to Oklahoma's CeeDee Lamb. Sports Illustrated currently ranks Pittman Jr. 9th in this year's receiver class.
But Daniel, outside of SC, the quarterback competition at the Combine will be a storyline to look out for, especially with LSU's Joe Burrow, Alabama's Tua Tagovailoa, and Oregon's Justin Herbert expected to be top 10 picks.
That is right, Julia. All 3 of these quarterbacks really could change the fortunes for 3 lucky teams. LSU's Joe Burrow is coming into the draft as the consensus #1 pick to the Cincinnati Bengals. Burrow had a magical season at LSU, throwing an astonishing 5,671 yards for 60 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. Hailing from Ohio, Burrow is potentially set to be an instant hometown hero.
But looking at Tagovailoa, this time last year, he was easily the consensus #1 overall pick in the upcoming draft. But his season-ending hip injury in November cast his future into doubt. It is not likely that Tagovailoa will work out at the Combine, but he will go through medical testing to show scouts if his recovery is on track.
Julia, the Combine in Indianapolis will be from February 23rd to March 2nd and will be broadcasted on the NFL Network.
Follow along Annenberg Media Sports' coverage of the draft at uscannenbergmedia.com. Now, this past weekend, our own Trevor Denton got to catch up with the former SC player making strides on the XFL field.
At 6'3", 225 pounds, Daquan Hampton doesn't often get overshadowed. But at USC, he sat behind Juju Smith-Schuster for 2 long years. His moment finally came in the last game of 2016, when he caught 2 touchdown passes against UCLA. They were the only 2 scores of his career.
My emotion was like, finally, you know what I mean? Because I've just been waiting for that time to come. So it came, I'm glad it came, because if it didn't come at all, I probably would have been salty like that. I couldn't score at all while being in a top Division I college. So I was happy. Really kind of poised, because I knew I could have got it done. I was just more happy at the fact that it finally came my way.
It was supposed to be his breakout performance, but since then he's been cut by 3 pro teams and he's dealt with multiple injuries.
I was this close to calling it, but I just kept going, so I said that was the hardest thing, to get out that 3-day funk I was in.
In October, the LA Wildcats picked him to play in the upstart XFL, giving him his last chance to play pro football. In his first home game, Hampton caught 1 pass for 10 yards and didn't miss a block, all in front of 20-plus family members.
Everybody know my grind and what I've been going through and how I just keep going. I've kept going, so I had a lot of support out here.
For now, Hampton's dreams of making it to the NFL are still alive. For Annenberg Media, I'm Trevor Denton.
The lacrosse team celebrated a significant win this last weekend when they upset Michigan 10-8, giving them their first win over a top 10 team since 2017. The number 12 Trojans look to be another ranked opponent this coming Friday when they welcome the number 16 Boston Eagles. The Eagles in 2-1 are on the season. BC has dominated the draw control, outpossessing opponents 46-34.
USC has struggled so far on the circle, being ousted 15-24. Boston also has a near-perfect clear percentage, but the Trojans' redefend has successfully stopped 10 clears. One crucial area the Trojans top the Eagles is turnovers. Compared to BC's 40, USC has only 29. Kerrigan Miller had a stellar game against Michigan with 4 goals, 3 draws, and 2 caused turnovers. Miller was scoreless last year against BC, so expect her to come out hot. Look for BC's Charlotte North to play for redemption as well. Last game, North only had 1 goal, 3 draw controls, and no caused turnovers. However, North has impressive season highs of 8 goals, 4 assists, and 12 draw controls. But expect goalie Riley Hertford to be ready to face North and star attacker Kara Yearbank. In the final 21 minutes against Michigan, Hertford allowed only 1 goal, which earned her the honor of Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week. If Hertford can sustain her high level of play, USC will be successful. Now the Trojans must do 3 things to win. First, they must improve on the draw. Against Vanderbilt, BC won the draw and scored 6 straight goals. Second, Hertford and the defense need to contain North and Yearbank. Both can score at will, with season highs of 8 and 6 goals. Lastly, USC needs to maintain energy throughout the game. Last season, the Trojans were outscored 8-3 in the first half and could not come back. The Trojans are yet to beat the Eagles in the series history, but have all the pieces to do so. USC looks to go 3-0 when they take on BC this Friday at 3 p.m. Now let's send it over to Lauren with one of USC lacrosse's biggest stars.
I am now joined by USC lacrosse player Emily Concialdi. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So your team's coming off an impressive win against the number 9 team, Michigan. Big win. What did that mean for your team?
Yeah, it was a great win. It was so much fun playing out there, but Michigan's behind us now. There was a lot to take from that, a lot of great things, but there's also a lot of things that we are looking to improve on. So every day at practice this week, we just have been focusing on our little things to take care of, and we're excited to get after it on Friday.
And this is your last year with this team. What do you hope to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, originally I thought last year was going to be my last year, and I was lucky enough to stay one more. I think from now on, we're just taking it one game at a time, and hopefully we'll be happy with the progress. And, you know, we want to win Pac-12s and, you know, make it to the Final Four. And obviously, national championship is what everyone wants. So, but we're just taking it one game at a time.
And you're from New York, so lacrosse is really big on the East Coast, not as much on the West Coast. What made you want to come to USC?
Well, as getting recruited in high school, when you come out to USC from New York, USC had it all, like social, academic, athletics, and being in LA, it was tough not to be sold on this. So yeah, I mean, I was just in love from the second I stepped on campus, and then knowing that it was a new team at the time, I was going to be joining them in their 4th year. I was excited to be a part of something new, and yeah, could have not been happier with my choice.
Yeah. And what is the legacy that you hope to leave here as a USC athlete?
Yeah, the legacy, I mean, you know, it's hard. Some days it's really tough, it's a struggle, but I think just letting the people know that are behind you that like never take any day for granted. You know, the tough travel days and, you know, the fun times in the hotels or like the locker room chats, you really can't take that for granted. So I just hope I can leave that behind and just let every person younger than me just understand what that means.
Yeah. And this is your last semester as a grad student. What are your next steps going to be?
Yeah, I think it's just taking it one play at a time, you know, focusing right now on BC, you know, showing up tomorrow and, you know, getting ready for Friday. And I just hope that I just, you know, take care of the little things and maybe the big things will take care of themselves. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We wish you and your team the best of luck and the rest of your season. Now let's send it over to Jillian with some information on special coverage we'll have for you this week.
USC fans have a big week coming up. USC football players will be participating in the NFL Combine Tuesday through Friday. Our very own Aidan Berg Media Sports staff will be up in Indianapolis, braving the cold to get you the best coverage.
And in sadder news for our basketball fans, Kobe Bryant's life will be honored Monday at Staples Center. We will have special coverage of the memorial that starts at 10 a.m. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Lauren Labruna.
And I'm Jillian Caroll. Make sure to follow us on the web and social media at @AndMediaSports. We'll see you next time.